All right, what's up, my mathletes? That's right, Mr. Muscarella coming at you. And in this video, we're going to take a look at sum and difference formulas. This time, we're going to use the tangent formula. That's right, tangent formula coming at you here. Now, first thing we want to do, though, before we get into that, is review what conjugates are, because those are going to come into play when we use this formula. So go ahead, pause for a moment, and go ahead and do the 4 examples there that and give the conjugate for those. So go ahead and hit pause, then come back and let's see how you did. All right, so hopefully you did okay with that. Remember, the conjugate, if you multiply those two binomials together, their middle term is opposite in sign. So like x plus 5, the opposite of plus is minus. Same thing with x plus square root of 7. The opposite of plus square root of 7 is minus square root of 7. And remember, you know, these are Algebra 1 kind of skills here. When you multiply two conjugates together, and I'll just do the x minus 4 one, when you multiply that together, you're going to get x squared minus 16. And then when you multiply a conjugate like x minus 3 with its conjugate x plus 3, that is going to give you x squared. Then square root of 3 times square root of 3, yeah, you know that's 3. So that'll just be x. So x squared minus 3 would be the result from that. And then, you know, of course, if you did x plus square root of 7 times x minus square root of 7, that would give you x squared minus 7. All right, so that's a little bit of skill coming back at you. A little review there for that. Now, again, we're going to be working with our sum and difference formula here for 75 degrees. What we've got to do is figure out the tangent of 75 using a sum formula. So they tell us to use a sum formula. So we're going to use this version right here of our formulas. Now, from the other videos, you know we had a whole bunch of different options for coming up with 75, and we're going to use the sum one to do that. So the only two values on the unit circle that add up to 75, of course, are 30 and 45. So here we are. You know, the first thing I want to see is you write down tan 75 equals tangent of 30 plus 45. Now in our formula, we're using u's and v's. So our u is going to be 30 degrees, right? And then our v is going to be 45 degrees. So then all we do next is we take our time and we substitute appropriately into the formula. So this formula says that's going to be tangent. Now the u value again is 30. So tangent of 30 plus tangent of 45, so that is in the numerator, and the denominator is going to be 1 minus tan of 30 times tan of 45. So those are going to be the two pieces that I want to make sure that you take your time, show your work, and set that up. Now this is really going to be the Algebra Olympics coming on here, because we're going to have to make sure that we do our work nicely, neatly organized. We're not trying to cram things in and you know, make our work sloppy. We want to take our time, make it nice and neat. Now, tangent of 30, that's root 3 over 3. All right, so we know that that's the value for tangent of 30. Tangent of 45, that's 1. All right, so root 3 over 3 plus 1 in the numerator. And the denominator is going to have 1 minus, and then root 3 over 3 times tangent of 45 is 1. So that's kind of nice. That's not going to go anywhere. So after we write down our formula, then we substitute in the appropriate unit circle values. Now from here, what you're going to do is you're going to look at the denominator of our fraction. We're going to actually simplify this first, you know, because we want to make sure we simplify, because it won't always be that easy. So you're going to have root 3 over 3 plus 1 over 1 minus square root of 3 over 3. So what we're going to do first here when we take a look at these, you're going to analyze the denominator, right? And you're going to get a common denominator so we can combine like terms on there. Some people are going to be able to do this a little bit more quickly than the other one, but we know that 1 is the same thing as 3 over 3, all right? Because my denominator in both these cases is 3. So I'm going to rewrite this, so it's going to be square root of 3 over 3 plus 3 over 3. That's the numerator. Right, and then our denominator is going to be 3 over 3 plus, and then root 3 over 3. Actually, that should be minus. So after we make our substitution, our values, we simplify our arithmetic, then we're going to have this wonderful little complex fraction. Right, now, remember your algebra days here, so we have like denominators, so we can go ahead and combine those. So now in the numerator, we're going to have square root of 3 plus 3, all of that over 3. And then in the denominator, we're going to have 3 minus square root of 3 all that over 3. Now there's a couple different ways you can approach it. The denominators here are both the same, so that's pretty cool, right? Because you know both of these guys are just going to cancel out. That's one way to think about it. Another way to think about it, so some people might go back to their middle school days and go kind of work with that piece and go, oh, keep it, change it, flip it. So we're going to keep the numerator the same, so square root of 3 plus 3 over 3. Dividing is going to go to multiplying, and then the denominator is going to flip, and we're going to take the reciprocal of that, and then that's going to be 3 over 3 minus square root of 3. And again, you can see the 3's there will cancel out. So either way you want to think about that, totally your call, the way that you want to do that. Just make sure that you do show that step. Now, when you simplify that, of course, in the numerator we'll have square root of 3 plus 3, and the denominator is going to have 3 minus square root of 3. Here is where more algebra Olympics are going to come into play here. So we can't have a square root on the bottom. So that means we've got to multiply by what? That's right, the conjugate. So the conjugate of 3 minus square root of 3 is simply 3 plus square root of 3. So you got to multiply the numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator, 3 plus square root of 3. From here, it's the Algebra Olympics. So really, really, really take your time to make sure that you do this correctly, because this is where a lot of small mistakes can be made. So take your time and work through the arithmetic. So I'm going to let you go ahead and hit pause and do that, and then we'll come back and take a look and see how you did. Now I'm going to take my time and go one step at a time here. So when you distribute the numerator, when you multiply the numerators together, you'll end up with what you see here in the numerator, 3 root 3 plus square root of 3 times square root of 3 plus 3 times 3 plus 3 square root of 3. Then the denominator, remember, that's conjugate, so multiply the first terms together. 3 times 3 is 9. And then square root of 3 times square root of 3, one of them being negative, will just give you a minus 3. So the denominator is going to just simplify into 6. That's the easy part. But 3 root 3, so again, it's going to kind of depend what you see as you do this. Square root of 3 times square root of 3 will just give you 3, and then 3 times 3 is 9, and then plus another 3 square roots of 3. And all of that is going to be over 6. Now, these two terms here, right, they have the same radical right there, so you can combine those two like terms. And, of course, 3 plus 9 gives us 12. So we're going to have 12 plus 6 square root of 3, all of that over 6. And then, hey, lo and behold, 6 goes into both of those terms. So when you're all done, you'll have 2 plus square root of 3. Oh my gosh. So that is the exact value for the tangent of 75. Again, lots of arithmetic, lots of algebra going on here. So do take your time to make sure you simplify correctly. All right, don't go photomath and that stuff or anything like that. Like, actually take the time and develop your thinking and your algebra skills. All right, thank you guys for watching, man. I appreciate it. You all have a great day. I love you. Peace out.